Alright, gonna do a quick little demo of a guitar. I've been looking for a Strat I could fly with, and if the airline loses or destroys it, it's not the end of the world because I can either replace it easily, not spend a ton of money, but still have something that sounds good, stays in tune, has some character to it. So I picked up one of these PRS Silver Sky SE guitars, the John Mayer signature, the more affordable, streamlined in the SE line. I picked up one of those and I've actually liked it a lot. I've done a couple things to it. I just want to do a real quick run through, maybe compare it to one of my other Strats, which is more of a traditional Strat sound. These are not exact traditional Strat copies. They feel a little different. They're shifted in the mid-range a little different. The neck feels different. So it's a modern take on a Strat, but it's not exactly the same thing. So I think a lot of guys are disappointed when they pick it up and they're like, this isn't wired the same and the pickups are all the same. And like, it's meant to be what it is, and I think it's pretty cool. So I'm going to run through it real quick, and yeah, just because I want to. There's tons of demos out there, but mine are way better, man. I'm going to run through my Kemper here. This is a 65 Vibrolux amp model, a little bit of reverb. Here's the neck pickup. Pretty familiar Strat sound there. Here's the out of phase, middle, and neck. Here's the middle pickup by itself. I usually use this on a Strat for either arpeggiating or just doing some finger picking, pulse type stuff. Bridge and middle out of phase. I mean, this is your kind of Mark Knopfler thing. Lots of quack. There's a lot of quack on this Strat, no matter where you are. Bridge pickup took me a little while to get used to. It's got a bite. When you switch right to it, it almost seems too clean and too thin and too just not snarly enough. But as I've played it, I really like the bridge position. It's very clear. It's very articulate. You're really getting the position. You're really getting that close to the bridge position where it's just bright and the strings aren't moving as much. So let me switch over to it from the neck so you can really hear the difference. Again, these are all three the same pickup. They're not wired different. Usually the bridge is maybe a little hotter, the poles are different. These are the same pickup. So you're getting the exact same sound just from a different position under the strings. So here's the neck. And here's the bridge. Now, shifting to it in my ear, it almost just seems thin, but when you start actually playing parts on it, it's really got great string separation. These are kind of underwound Strat pickups, and it brings out the mid-range, it brings out the strings. I don't know. I've played with it very little and got used to it really quick, so a lot of people have complained about the bridge. A lot of people love it, and I think it's because it's got a pretty specific. It's got a pretty in-your-face kind of sound, and I think you either love it or hate it. Now, one thing I modded, which helped a lot with that bridge pickup, I didn't find the tone controls very useful at all. It was rolling off tons of mids, and this guitar really, that's what it has going for it, is the mids. It's almost like you took a Strat and you kind of lopped off the really high sparkle and the really low woody rumble, and you've got this mid-range, real focused kind of a Strat sound. And I like to be able to roll that high end off a little bit on the tone in case you want to do kind of the Eric Johnson, woofy thing or get that woman tone. And I just couldn't find it with the capacitor that was on there, and it was just a little Tic Tac 0.1 UF. So I switched that capacitor, the tone capacitor, to it's a paper and oil, a 0.033 UF, so lesser value. And for me, that sat the tone roll off in such a sweeter spot that it just changed the whole feel of how I use the pickups and stuff. So now here's that bright pickup. Let me get to a little more aggressive tone here. Here's that bright pickup, full tone. Here's the tone rolled off about halfway. If I can play. Here's the tone almost all the way off. Still super usable. I mean, tons of mid-range still there, and again, that's where this guitar lives. Here's the tone all the way off on the bridge pickup. So again, that womany tone rolled off, but still super usable. It hasn't rolled off everything. It's still warm. To me, that changed it, and I can even use that same thing on the, say, the neck pickup. Aggressive, bright, love it. Tone halfway up. To me, it almost fakes that woody feel with being able to roll the tone off in that particular area. Here's the tone all the way off on the neck. So to me, that tone shaping changed the whole way I use this particular guitar. So that's a personal preference. People will argue about that the type of capacitor you use matters, doesn't matter. I disagree. I've had many guitars that the type of capacitor, not just the value, changed a lot. But the value is going to change a lot on this particular guitar. I think a slightly lesser capacitor value sweetens up that tone knob for this particular voicing of a Strat, in my opinion. Now, with all those caveats, do whatever you want. It's a great guitar picking it up. Get it set up real nice. Get the pickups where the height where they're set up for your particular rig that you're going through. And dude, it's a fun guitar. It's spanky. It's quacky Strat all around. It's mid shifted a little bit. It's cool clean. It's cool dirty. Great string separation. Great clarity. Let me compare it to my more traditional Strat, and you can see what you think. So here's the neck pickup. Switch over to more traditional. So again, this one to me is just a little more woody, a little more bass, a little more high sparkle, not as much mid-range is what I'm hearing. So here's the bridge on this one. Go back to that bridge on the SE. So again, to me, it's brighter, it's more mid-rangey, there's a little more of a clean, kind of a string separation, which I think is the underground pickups, but it's cool, it's different, it feels different, it inspires to play differently than more of a traditional Strat. So to me, if it inspires you to play well and you can get it to sound good, that's a great guitar that needs to go in your collection. So I think they did a great job of making an affordable, inspiring, interesting, different voicing type of Strat for a pretty decent price for what it is. So again, that's my opinion on it. I appreciate you watching. My videos are more for me to go back and listen to myself anyway, so I better play myself out.